Right, so we're diving into Think and Grow Rich.
A classic.
It is a classic. You and I feel like we've skimmed this one. We've kind of gotten the gist.
Yeah.
But we want to go deeper, right? I mean, you've got some seriously ambitious goals, and I've done a ton of research on top of Hill's work here, so I'm ready to find those golden nuggets, those aha moments that kind of take this from like general self-help into, okay, this is how I can apply this to my life.
Well, and what I find so fascinating about Hill is he almost creates this treasure hunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
He tells us there's a secret, this sort of secret to success.
Right.
But rather than just telling us what it is, he kind of sprinkles clues throughout the entire book. So it's almost like he's encouraging that active reading, that really like, if you want it, you got to work for it kind of mentality.
It's true. And you find yourself rereading passages, trying to like piece it together.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that active engagement, that's what really makes you internalize it, right?
Absolutely. He understood that spoon-feeding information isn't enough.
Right.
He wanted readers to become active participants in uncovering their own potential. And that all starts with, and he really hits on this, a burning desire.
Yeah, he doesn't dance around it.
No.
It's interesting, though, because anybody who is even, familiar with just like basic self-help knows desire is important.
Of course.
So what is it about Hill's take on it that makes it unique? What makes his approach different?
Well, he takes this idea and he brings it to an almost uncomfortable extreme. He compares this burning desire to, a general who lands in a hostile land and immediately orders his soldiers to burn their ships.
Wow.
No escape route, total commitment.
It's intense.
That level of intensity, right.
Right.
That back against the wall mentality, that's the kind of fire he's talking about.
Okay, so it's intense. But does it always have to be that drastic? I mean, most of us aren't literally like, burning ships. So
right.
How do we translate that to like, I don't know, launching a business or pursuing a creative passion? What does that look like?
Well, I think that's where another big theme he has, the power of thought, really comes in. He argues that our thoughts aren't just these fleeting things, but they have a very real impact on our reality. And he uses this example of a young girl who unknowingly uses sheer willpower to overcome a physically stronger adult.
Yeah, it's a powerful image. But I remember reading that and being like, wait, is he talking about mind control?
Yeah.
But it's more nuanced than that, right?
It is, and he connects that seemingly small story to giants like Henry Ford.
Okay.
And what set Ford apart wasn't just, mechanical skill, but this unwavering focus on this singular, audacious goal of making automobiles affordable for everyone.
So you're saying it's like focus so sharp it can bend reality. I mean, is that even possible for like the average person?
He'll believe so, and he called it definiteness of purpose. And he gives this fascinating example of this merchant who, after the Great Chicago Fire, he declares that he'll rebuild his business on that exact same charred ground.
Wow.
While others saw devastation, he saw opportunity, right? And that unwavering certainty, that refusal to be swayed by circumstance, that's what Hill is getting at.
Yeah, it makes you think about how often we let fear or doubt kind of cloud our vision.
Right.
We hesitate, we second guess ourselves, and that's usually when the opportunity vanishes.
Exactly. But definiteness isn't just about, stubbornly clinging to a single idea. It's about having a clear target, right? And that's where he introduces a concept that I think is crucial, especially for your aspirations, and that's the mastermind.
Okay, I've heard this one thrown around, but it's always sounded kind of, I don't know, a little woo-woo to me.
Yeah.
Like, is this some secret society? What are we talking about here?
Think of it more as a strategic alliance, right? Of brilliant minds all working in harmony.
Okay.
He uses the example of Henry Ford surrounding himself with innovators like Thomas Edison.
Right.
Ford understood that no one succeeds alone. We need diverse perspectives, challenges, support to really excel.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do you actually build one? I mean, do I just cold call my idols and hope for the best?
Probably not. Probably not, Edison. But Hill does give some really practical advice on this.
Right.
He talks about seeking out individuals who, resonate with your goals, who challenge you, inspire you.
Right.
It's about building authentic relationships, not just, transactional ones.
So find your tribe, find your people, the ones who get it, and push you. Which I love, especially, in creative fields.
Yeah.
It's so easy to feel like you're going at it alone.
Absolutely. And it's not just about, finding your people, but Hill talks about the importance of regular meetings, brainstorming sessions,
Yeah.
having those conversations where ideas can flow freely,
Right.
creating an environment where iron sharpens iron, so to speak.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. But even with the best mastermind in the world, you've still got those internal roadblocks. You've got those fears.
Oh, absolutely.
And Hill, he doesn't shy away from that.
He does not.
He goes straight into the 6 ghosts of fear.
He does, and it's interesting how he connects those fears to success, right?
Right.
Like, take the fear of criticism. It's not just about being afraid of negative comments, but it's about that fear paralyzing us from putting our work, our ideas, our true selves out there.
Oof. Yeah. That hit close to home. I've definitely held back on projects because I was afraid of what people would think.
Of course.
And it keeps us small.
It absolutely does. And Hill doesn't want us to cower in fear. He provides strategies for confronting those fears head on.
Okay.
And one of the most, I think, powerful ones is this emphasis on decisive action.
Okay.
He uses this example of a man who's about to be executed, who then finds this strange sense of peace.
Really?
And why? Because the decision's been made, the uncertainty is gone.
It's counterintuitive.
It is.
Because you think, run from your fears, but to run towards them, I can see how that would eliminate the worry.
Exactly. That decisiveness eliminates those what-ifs that often keep us stuck.
Right, exactly.
And when we act, we often realize those fears were way worse in our imagination than in reality.
Oh, for sure.
But Hill doesn't stop there. He throws us another curveball.
Okay.
Sex transmutation.
Yeah, that one definitely raised an eyebrow when I first read it.
Right.
And I think it's maybe the most, misunderstood
Oh, absolutely.
part of his work.
Especially today.
Yes, exactly.
But it's not about what some people might think. He's not advocating for anything inappropriate or anything like that.
Right.
He's talking about energy.
Right.
He saw this sexual drive as this incredibly potent force.
Right.
That, if harnessed correctly, could be channeled into creative pursuits, ambition, even business success.
So it's not about suppressing it.
Yeah.
It's redirecting it, transforming it.
Exactly. Think of it like this. The raw power of a lightning bolt is amazing, but also potentially destructive.
Right.
But harness that same energy, you can power entire cities.
Okay.
It's about understanding this primal force within us and using it constructively.
I like that analogy. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's not about denying a natural part of who we are. It's just about, mastering your own energy, directing it where you want to go.
Exactly.
And it's interesting because a lot of what we talked about so far is kind of external, right?
Yeah.
Goals, plans, actions. But Hill also goes inward.
He does.
Like the power of the subconscious mind.
Yeah, he even dedicates a whole chapter to what he calls the sixth sense, which he believed was key to unlocking our full potential.
Okay, the sixth sense, now we're getting mystical.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
He wasn't talking about seeing dead people.
Okay, good to know.
He was talking about accessing this deeper level of consciousness, what he called infinite intelligence.
Okay.
It's that space where we receive ideas, inspiration, guidance that seem to come from beyond our conscious minds.
So tapping into like a universal well of creativity.
In a way, yes. And he believed that everyone has access to this sixth sense, but most of us never learn how to use it.
So how do we tap in? How do we access that?
Well, Hill had some, let's say, unconventional techniques.
Okay.
One of which he called the Invisible Council.
The Invisible Council. All right, you got to explain that one.
All right, so imagine you're assembling like your dream team of mentors, right?
Okay.
People you admire, historical figures, anyone whose wisdom you respect. Hill's Invisible Council involves having regular mental meetings with this imaginary group.
Really?
Seeking their advice, drawing on their experiences.
So you're creating your own like board of advisors, but in your mind.
Precisely. And while it might sound a little out there, there's a lot of modern research that supports the power of visualization and mental rehearsal.
So you're using your imagination to tap into that deeper level of wisdom.
Exactly. And Hill himself claimed that this invisible council was instrumental in his own success.
Wow.
He said he would have these mental meetings every night, seeking advice from Emerson, Lincoln, even Darwin.
Wow. Talk about a power lunch.
I know, right?
I imagine it wasn't just like passively receiving advice, though, right?
Yeah.
You have to then do something.
Absolutely. And that's where, again, his emphasis on definiteness, on organized planning come in.
Okay.
He provides this very specific step-by-step plan for turning those desires, those insights, into tangible realities.
Right.
He calls it the 6 steps to riches.
All right, I'm ready. Let's hear it. What's step one?
Well, step one, it's surprisingly simple, but not necessarily easy.
Okay.
Hill says you have to fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire.
So get specific, no more just like, I want to be rich kind of thing.
Exactly. Vague desires lead to vague results. So he wants you to have a clear target,
Okay.
a financial North Star, so to speak.
I like it.
And it doesn't have to be just about money. This applies to anything.
Right.
You need a creative boost. Define what success looks like.
Okay.
Want to launch that passion project. How will you measure its impact?
So it's taking those someday aspirations, making them measurable.
Exactly.
I can get behind that. All right, what's next?
Step 2 is where things get interesting.
Okay.
Hill says you need to determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire.
Hold on. Are we like making a deal with the universe here? What's going on?
Not quite a cosmic deal.
Okay.
But Hill was a big believer in reciprocity. You can't just wish for riches without offering value in return. So it's about,
Right.
identifying your talents, skills, and figuring out how you can use them to serve others.
So aligning your success with like a contribution to the world.
Exactly.
Not just taking, but giving back.
Right.
Okay, I like that. What's number 3?
Hill loved deadlines.
Okay.
Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire.
No more indefinite goals.
Nope.
Putting it on the calendar, I like it. It's like making an appointment with your future self.
Exactly. Transforms that hazy dream into a concrete goal with a deadline, and it adds accountability.
It's like that saying, a goal without a plan is just a wish.
That's right.
Speaking of plans,
Yeah?
that's got to be step 4.
You know this book. Hill says to create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action.
Oh, I love that. Whether you're ready or not, just start doing it. Just start moving.
Exactly. Analysis paralysis, it's real.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes the best way to figure things out is to just dive in and start doing.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, all right? Hit me with step 5.
All right, this one's all about, putting pen to paper, making it real. Hill says to write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, the time limit for its acquisition, what you intend to give in return for the money, and the plan through which you intend to accumulate it.
So it's like a contract with yourself.
Yes.
Tangible. This is what I'm doing. I'm committed.
There's something powerful about seeing it written down.
Totally.
In black and white.
It becomes real.
It does.
Okay, last step. What's the grand finale?
This is where it gets interesting. Hill says to read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night, and once after arising in the morning. As you read, see, and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money.
Okay, so we're adding in the visualization.
Yes.
Feeling the emotions, really embodying it.
Exactly. Hill was ahead of his time understanding the power of the subconscious mind.
Totally. Visualize our goals, feel the emotions, we prime ourselves for success.
Program your internal GPS.
There you go.
I love it. And, it's interesting because you mentioned right at the beginning that Hill talks about, like, this secret.
He does.
And he kind of hints at it throughout the book. And now, having gone through all this, do you think it's really one big secret?
Right.
Or is it more about how it all works together?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
But if we think about, the burning desire, the definiteness, the planning, overcoming fear, even the sex transmutation, it seems like the secret is really the combination of all these things.
It's not a magic formula. It's like a mindset.
It is. It's about mastering these principles and applying them consistently with belief and action, taking responsibility for your own journey.
Exactly. We have far more power than we think.
That's empowering.
It is.
It's not about luck. It's about making it happen.
It's about alignment, and that's where the magic happens.
That's where the magic happens. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you've given us a lot to think about, and I think more importantly, a lot to actually do.
I agree.
To put into practice.
Yeah.
Like Hill said, what the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
And to that point, I'll leave you with this thought. Hill believed that true riches, they're more than just money.
Right.
It's a fulfilling life, it's purpose, it's relationships, it's contribution.
Yeah.
So what does true wealth look like to you, and how can you use these principles to achieve it?
That's a great question. That's a great question to think about. And on that note, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive on Think and Grow Rich. Remember, the power to create the life you want is within you.